If you followed Arista for any period of time, you'll notice that on our wine labels, we have a wine called UV Lucky Well. There was UV El Diablo, UV Silver Eagle. The UV stands for Ulysses Valdez. It's the way he named his vineyards. It was a mark of quality. It was a way for a consumer to see that UV and know that that vineyard is of exceedingly high quality. The original site was just the UV vineyard, the Ulysses Valdez vineyard. This is where it all started for Ulysses. The first time I walked this vineyard with Ulysses, I was drawn to the plant material that Ulysses had chosen. He was a savvy farmer. At the time when this vineyard was planted in 2002, much of what was being planted in the area were the Dijon clones, 115, 667, 777. Nothing wrong with those clones, but I think what we were beginning to learn is there were different selections of Pinot Noir that were probably more well suited for the Russian River Valley. Selections like Swan, Calera, Martini. These are the selections that Ulysses chose to plant here. So we get this sunlight, we get this perfect balance of moisture, marine layer, but sunlight to really allow photosynthesis to happen and ripen. What happens here in the UV vineyard, you get these dark, rich, almost like blue fruit, black fruit flavors. There's a savory element, an earthy element to this wine. It's on the more powerful end of what Pinot Noir is. It plays well to the Russian River Valley. In 2006, I said, well, hey, Ulysses, I'd love to buy some fruit from that. He said, sorry, amigo, there is no fruit for you. It was being sold to two other wineries, prominent wineries. And so I thought, okay, well, next year I'll ask him for some. Literally, for 13 years, I took Ulysses to lunch at the end of each harvest to talk about the year. And I'd always finish a conversation with, oh, and hey, how about a little bit of UV fruit this year? In 2019, 13 years after my original ask, at one of those lunches, Ulysses said, you know what, amigo, I got a little fruit for you. There's gonna be some Pinot Noir available, and I would be honored if you would begin making wine from this site. Sadly, Ulysses passed away in 2019, and he never got to see us make wine from this site. But it's that relationship, that friendship that I had with Ulysses. Every time I open a bottle of wine from this site, I think of Ulysses and his smile and his laughter and the influence that he had on my life. One of the things that draw wine people to wine is the distinct sights, the uniqueness. I'm a consumer too. I want to taste place. What's so fascinating to me about this Laguna Ridge where the UV vineyard is located, just about a mile north of here is the Joseph Swan estate. Now, those vines are much older, but on a really narrow stretch of land, you have two vineyards that have a very different profile. You wouldn't think there could be that big of a difference between a mile, but the wines that are grown here have so much more weight and power. There's a darkness, there's a sexiness to these wines that really makes the UV vineyard distinct. If you're looking for a wonderful example of terroir from the Russian River Valley, I think one of the things I would recommend, it's fascinating. Get a bottle of UV, get a bottle of the Joseph Swan estate, and try them side by side, and just be blown away how distinct and unique each wine is from one another.